Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Rava Jaya Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Yashoda Nandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Yashoda Jaya Munati Ravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamunati Ravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Yashoda Nandana Jaya Braja Jana Ranjana Jaya Yamunati Ravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Vanachari Jaya Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Kantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaura Premanande Haribo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nasta Prayesa Badresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. We continue our reading of the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th chapter, entitled Prahlad, the saintly son of Hiranyakashipu. Today we're picking up from text 42.
We always start with the transcendental diary.
All right.
We read a little bit and then we can speak about or not.
Okay. So we will begin with the transcendental diary of Harisori Prabhu on the life of Srila Prabhupada. This is a section called Sri Vrindavan Dham. September 30th, 1976. Hansadutta Swami went into Delhi first thing this morning to meet with Gopal Krishna Prabhu. In his class this morning, Srila Prabhupada stressed the need to seriously take shelter of a guru. He said that we should not approach a guru for fulfillment of our material desires. One should go to a guru for spiritual advancement of life, not as a fashion. People go to a guru as a fashion. My Guru Maharaj used to say that don't make a guru just like you keep a dog as a fashion. Nowadays, it has become a fashion to keep a dog. In the European, American countries, it is a compulsory fashion to have a dog. Everyone keeps a dog, and they love dog very much, more than anything. Prabhupada's droll observation and his drawn-out pronunciation of the word dog had everybody laughing. So now we are also imitating, because India is imitator. Since the Britishers came here, we have become first-class imitator. He told us how Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee of Calcutta High Court judge, a Calcutta High Court judge, was asked in 1914 by one of the British rulers what he would do if the Germans came to India. Mukherjee replied that he would welcome them. When asked why, Prabhupada said he replied, "You have taught us to make like this, so we shall do that. Because you have simply taught us this, how to obey your orders, so anyone who will come, we shall do this." Prabhupada went on, "The idea is the slave mentality. The Englishman is in an organized way. They taught the Indians how to become servant of the Englishman. We have seen. It is Gandhi's movement that he dismantled this idea of white prestige. Otherwise, we were taught like that. Formerly, in our childhood, it was the advancement of civilization if one could imitate the English fashion. So we should not make that a fashion. Guru is not a fashion. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Amazing how Srila Prabhupada, exactly what we were discussing last night, our point, we're repeating what Prabhupada said. Yeah, almost word for word. Hare Krishna. And then how accurate Prabhupada is discussing about keeping dogs, because dogs are very chaste and loving. People are struggling for affection, and the dogs are able to give. The four human beings having frustrated each other in impersonalism and lack of proper reciprocation have left society only with the dogs to reciprocate their love. So that's the glory of the dog, how he is chaste. And but Srila Prabhupada is saying, just as people are keeping dogs as a fashion, look at my dog, look at your dog, Guru should not be accepted in that way. Let me get one just so that I am also part of the fashionable people. I also have a Guru. So we pick up from the Srimad Bhagavatam.
There's one question on this point. They accept the guru, but not correctly in the right manner. But there are some in the scriptures. They say something like, if you take the guru, he will drag you out of the, even if you don't follow the rules and regulations and all, and if you don't follow the principles of the sampradaya, he will drag you out of the material energy. How is that possible? Because there is this other verse, sampradaya vihinaye. You know this?
Mantras is Father Nation.
How can it be? The one verse mentions it's useless, your initiation is useless, and another statement it is said he will drag you out anyway if you follow or not. How is that to understand?
So both can exist side by side. The first is that one is accepting spiritual master to surrender and to follow his teachings. So if you receive your mantra without it coming in sampradaya, then it has no fruit. You accept a bona fide spiritual master and parampara, then you are connected. And to highlight the mercy of the spiritual master is that for that sincere disciple, even if they may have some trouble, slip up, fall down, by the mercy of Guru, he can drag you out. But it is not to endorse accepting spiritual master without following the practices of Krishna consciousness. As Srila Prabhupada gave the example of, if the husband is potent and the wife is fertile, then when they unite, there can be a child. But if woman is barren, husband is impotent, there can't be any child. So guru must be potent, bona fide. Disciple must also be sincere and bona fide. Then the result is there. However, we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to exemplify mercy of Guru when this Krishna Das was lost with the gypsies, that he went to get him, dragged him out of there. And after that, told him, you do what you want now. So because he had served, then the spiritual master is always inclined to help the disciple. So even in Srila Prabhupada's Leela, we see Tamal Krishna Goswami highlighting about one disciple, how Prabhupada has become such a nonsense, is doing this and that. I think now he's even taking up some smoking habits. We should draw a line, So Tamal Krishna Maharaj is trying to get Prabhupada to be heavy and cut him off. And Srila Prabhupada, he said, yes, you don't know the mercy of Lord Nityananda. And then he said, anyway, this rascal, I like this rascal. So disciple has become such a rascal, but because the Guru has affection for him, still he can save him like this. So yes, the mercy seems to be sometimes really independent, depending on the pleasure of the Guru. But our part is to follow nicely, try to. It's okay. All right. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki. So we have this one on the board, 42. Of course, it has no purport. If you don't mind, then we'll just chant this one and we'll continue. And Prayase pahote tasmin Daityendra parishankita Chakaratat vadopayang Nirbandena yudhishthira Prayase pate tasmin Daitendriya parishankita Chakaratat vadopayan Nirbandena yudhishthira Prayase payate tasmin Taitrendriya parishankita Chakaratat vadopayan Nirbandena yudhishthira Prayase pate tasmin Taitendra parishankita Chakaratat vadopayan
Prayase pahate tasmin.
Prayase pahate tasmin.
Daityendra parishankitaha.
Daityendra parishankitaha.
Chakara tattvatrupaya.
Chakara tattvatrupaya.
Nirbandena yudhishthira.
Nirbandena yudhishthira
Prayase pahate tasmin.
Prayase pahate tasmin.
Daityendra parishankitaha.
Daityendra parishankitaha.
Chakara tattvatrupaya.
Chakaratat vadopayan
Nirbandena yudhishthira.
Nirbandena yudhishthira. Mataji's. Prayase pate tasmin
Daityendra parishankitaha. Chakara tattvatrupaya. Nirbandena yudhishthira.
Prayase, when the endeavor, apahate, futile, tasmin, that, Daita Indra, the king of the demons, Hiranyakashipu, Parishankitaha, very much afraid, considering how the boy was protected. Chakara, executed. Tadvada Upayan, various means for killing him. Nibandena, with determination. Yudhishthira, O King Yudhishthira. Translation: My dear King Yudhishthira, when all the attempts of the demons to kill Prahlad Maharaj were futile, the king of the demons, Hiranyakashipu, being most fearful, began contriving other means to kill him. Text 43 and 44. Translation: Hiranyakashipu could not kill his son by throwing him beneath the feet of big elephants, throwing him among huge, fearful snakes, employing destructive spells, hurling him from the top of a hill, conjuring up illusory tricks, administering poison, starving him, exposing him to severe cold, winds, fire and water, or throwing heavy stones to crush him. When Hiranyakashipu found that he could not in any way harm Prahlad, who was completely sinless, he was in great anxiety about what to do next. Text 45. Hiranyakashipu thought, I have used many ill names in chastising this boy Prahlad, and have devised many means of killing him. But despite all my endeavors, he could not be killed. Indeed, he saved himself by his own powers, without being affected in the least by those treacherous and abominable actions. Text 46, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila SB.7.5.42 Swami Prabhupada Ki. Although he is very near to me and is merely a child, he is situated in complete fearlessness. He resembles a dog's curved tail, which can never be straightened, because he never forgets my misbehavior and his connection with his master, Lord Vishnu. Purport. The word Shuna means of a dog, and Shepa means tail. The example is ordinary. However, one may try to straighten a dog's tail. It is never straight, but always curved. Shuna Sepa is also the name of the second son of Ajigartha. He was sold to Harishchandra, but he later took shelter of Vishwamitra, Harishchandra's enemy, and never left his side. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sayang Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sargajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanang Pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim. Yat kripa tamaham bande Shri Gurundi Natarinam. Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Shiksha. This is a favorite part of the Bhagavatam of our Srila Prabhupada. He spoke extensively, quoting the instructions of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj is one of the 12 Mahajans. Although in the Leela he's a young boy, but his realizations are very profound and deep. Therefore, he is fit to assist us in our attempt to get out of material existence. If at all, that is our attempt. In this section, Hiranyakashipu had very affectionately welcomed Prahlad Maharaj onto his lap, having inquired from him what was the best that he had learned from his education. And the boy began to quote very potent verses. He quotes Nate vidu satagatim vishnum durashaye by atmanina. Yata andai yata. Yes. Yata andai. Then tepisa chancham urubadadam. That those who don't understand that their welfare is in Lord Vishnu, then they are by atamanina, they are externally facing. Then what happens? They are bound by very strong ropes because they've taken shelter of one guru who is materially attracted. And therefore, when you follow a blind leader, then everyone falls into a blind well. He mentions how those who become attached within the household ashram, which he likens to an andakupam, a deep dark well, then having fallen into that, one is unable to get out. Then he mentions that unless they smear their bodies with the dust from the lotus feet of a pure devotee and a kinchana, one who has no material affections, then there's no hope of coming out of material existence. After citing these verses to his father, then Hiranyakashipu was angry. He threw the boy off his lap. And then he began to chastise his teachers, Sanda and Amaka. Who has taught this boy this nonsense? So I didn't sign him up to learn devotion to my enemy, Lord Vishnu. Therefore, Hiranyakashipu immediately decided that this boy Prahlad is an enemy and he has to be killed immediately. In poetic language, he speaks how just as uncontrolled senses are the enemies of all yogis engaged in advancing in spiritual life, this Prahlad, who appears to be a friend, is an enemy because I cannot control him. Therefore, this enemy, whether eating, sitting, or sleeping, must be killed by all means. So we can understand that Hiranyakashipu is a high-level demon, high-level envious person completely materially interested in his own sense gratification. And this story is not just there to point at Hiranyakashipu. This is called Parokshavaada. We discuss another individual, just see how he's envious, how he's materially attached. And then if one is sensitive, spiritually awake, then they look at this Hiranyakashipu and they think, hey, could I also be envious and materially intoxicated like him? So these lessons are for us, aspiring devotees, to look within our own hearts. So for his own benefit, Hiranyakashipu is ready to kill his own son. Now this is happening also in the age of Kali. People are conspiring day in, day out, whether it's the sons to kill the parents to get the inheritance. Sometimes the parents kill the son also for whatever benefit. Srila Prabhupada would say in Kali Yuga also, even the mothers are killing the child within the womb. Therefore, each one, because of trying to protect their own sense gratification, is ready to end the life, even of those who are supposed to be near and dear, loved ones. Have you noticed that it's loved ones that get killed by loved ones? So then you wonder, this word loved ones, how true is that? Yes. Somehow or the other, by the arrangement of time, different living entities, they come together. And in the name of husband, wife, kids, countrymen, human beings, we form some sort of artificial, temporary alignments until and unless the relationships are informed by the eternal relationship. Krishna has claimed all of us in the Bhagavad Gita that he's Aham Bija Pradapita. He's the seed-giving father of all living beings. Therefore, there is actually a real relationship amongst all living entities. If we do not recognize that spiritual link and we don't deal with each other as spiritual parts and parcels of Krishna, Mama Vangsu Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, then based on designations which are temporary, which are superficial, we create superficial temporary relationships which are frustrated at a moment's notice. Look at Hiranyakashipu. He was practically in tears, smelling the head of his son, stroking his head, just the apple of his eye, my boy, on his lap. As soon as Prahlad Maharaj spoke transcendental knowledge, because he is a materialist, oh, this is Lord Vishnu's knowledge. He's my enemy. Therefore, you are my enemy. This is the philosophy in this world, that an enemy of my enemy is my friend. Oh, you hate the same person, so high five. But a friend of my enemy is my enemy as well. Have you noticed that even in simple dealings, friendships, someone has a problem with someone, and it's sometimes so sad in Vaishnav circles. I have some not so wholesome impression of a certain Vaishnava. Then I come to you, Prabhuji, I heard that you'll be traveling with such and such devotee, or you are visiting such and such a temple. Don't you know? I like this. Downloading all the negativity. And then if we open our ear and heart to take that in, even before meeting said Vaishnava, meeting said community, we are ready, By the time you meet him, you've got your own idea. I heard about you. So it is said how the ear is like a womb. Whatever is placed in the ear, it will birth some conception within us. We put that on some WhatsApp status the other day. So therefore, what we hear is very important. From hearing, one can awaken dormant Krishna consciousness. And from hearing, one can be further implicated in bondage of material existence. Hiranyakashipu didn't hear the good news that he expected from his son. And therefore, he immediately wanted to get his son killed. So this is heavy, extreme, your own boy. Now, immediately the Rakshasas, they were ready to do the bidding of Hiranyakashipu. And they began to try and pierce the body of this tender young boy. And then a miracle occurs. This is where those who have no faith in Vyasadeva exit the chat. How is it possible that by striking him with tridents, they could not pierce him? How is it possible that even though he was thrown under the feet of heavy elephants, thrown off cliffs, heavy boulders on him, that he was not affected? So then I'm a rational thinker, and this makes no sense to me. This is why I don't like religion, because this religion asks you to accept just some fantasy type stories. It doesn't make sense. Does it make sense? If I take a rock, Prabhuji, even a small one, and I throw it at you, and it hits you, you feel anything? And then now you are over 25, you're 5 years. I take a rock size of my hand and I throw it at you. You're already crying. What I speak of big rocks, then you're crushed and finished. So this is supposed to put some pause in us. What's going on here? What's going on? Why is Prahlad not affected by all these poisons? He was given poison.
Because he's protected by the spiritual energy.
Jai Shishi Vijay Gauranga Dial Nitai Ki. The secret is out. These are two platforms. On the material platform, definitely cause and effect work. And we understand every physical body is vulnerable to fire, to wind, to heavy rocks, to boiling oil, to being crushed. These bodies are not like, we're not Iron Men. First, they have to make up some idea of an Iron Man who cannot be shot with bullets, or they have all sorts of men. Some are elastic, some are super, some are spider. And when the living being who wants to hear of superhuman activity, we hear all of that, by the time we actually meet the real supernatural superhero, the Supreme Lord, our hard drive is full of the fake Hollywood, Bollywood stories. Then we put our doubt where we shouldn't be doubting. Supreme Lord means he can do anything and everything. But because Hollywood has already created illusion for us, I remember, and it was Krishna's mercy on me. And as a young man, I had watched some movie about King Kong. And at some point, King Kong is cornered, is on top of this building, and all these armies are just like offloading just bullets on him, and I'm there and I'm crying. I didn't do anything, I'm like fully like, my heart's broken. What are they doing, King Kong? They just don't understand him like I do. Then later on, I saw the making of King Kong. Sometimes they show it behind the scenes, how the filmer. Did I not feel so betrayed? What is this nonsense? This is just, there's no King Kong. It's all made, the big building, they made like a miniature-sized city. And and then at that point, some vairagya came in my heart. I'm not going to watch these movies anymore. These are lies. Sustained me for a few years, I had a protest against the illusion. Before meeting the devotees, what is this? I was there crying. I embarrassed myself. My family members were there. So, material nature presents us with so-called reality. Everyone has some experience, but we have this material experience. Therefore, we accept this to be factual. And then when we're presented with the transcendental reality, then we feel ourselves very smart to now use our rational mind. We are thinking beings. We are not just like blind followers of some Indian whatever stories. In India, they call it mythology. They call it mythology. I was in a train from Calcutta to Ujjain. Very long train ride. Oof. If you just want to read books and see the countryside and explore your senses, take this train. And many people will ask me, hey, how come you've converted to this? How do you believe this Indian mythology? Because as we read in Srila Prabhupada's, the segment of Harisori Prabhu's Transcendental Diary, that there is the young people of India, they are trying to get with the Western world. And now it's not even trying. The whole world is watching same movies. It's practically one culture, materialism. However, coming out of cultured India and becoming educated, they become miseducated to have doubt in the Vedas, the Puranas. They feel, if we're really educated, how can we believe these stories? This is all mythology. So they are saying me, oh, you come from Africa and you really believe this mythology, they're asking me. So then, time and time again, I'm speaking and surrounded by all these curious people and having to defend the leelas of the Lord. So this is the unfortunate position of the conditioned soul who, when confronted with the activities of the Supreme Lord, which are Devi, Prakriti, they are divine by nature, then one all of a sudden has firm faith in their senses and their power of reasoning, and they doubt the activities of the Lord. So here we are being exposed to the reality that if one is protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then nothing can harm him. Mare Krishna Rake Ke, Rake Krishna Mare Ke. If Krishna wants to protect you, Lord Vishnu wants to protect you as many arms, who can harm you? And if the Lord wants to end you, who can protect you? Hiranyakashipu, the greatest demon, even the demigods are like running around trying to serve him. Simply by moving of his eyebrows. He was so powerful. But he becomes anxious. He's in anxiety. What's his anxiety? This boy is not afraid of me. And this boy is not being affected by all the methods I am using to end him. Now that should be scary. If you are like killer number one, and all of a sudden with all your ability to kill, you cannot kill a 5-year-old boy. It starts to scare you a bit. Just like we live in the world of internet. I saw some clip of a bull. So this bull is facing like a ram. Ram is male sheep. And the sheep was coming. And so the bull is just like, then the ram reverses again and comes. And he goes back again. And then the bull now, when he came the third time, the bull ran away. Because size-wise, this bull, he can take out other huge bulls. Now here's this small, what is this guy on? Like, if he's not afraid and he's coming back, then you start to wonder, what does this guy know that I don't know? It puts fear in you. There he ran. So Hiranyakashipu is bewildered. This is my own son. I know this kid. But he cannot be killed. He's simply meditating on this Lord Vishnu. Therefore, he's protected. And this, it is terrifying to Hiranyakashipu. So the Lord is making a point through Prahlad Maharaj that whosoever completely offers himself in surrender, then he will be protected by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada would then say, of course, this does not mean that we act foolishly. Let me run into the freeway because I'm meditating on Lord Vishnu. All these German cars will not do anything to me. What is German car? I am a transcendental devotee. No, that will be finished, game over. So not unnecessary risks to make the Lord our servant. But Prahlad Maharaj's complete 1008% faith in the Lord and dependence on the Lord. And the Lord protected him, protected his body. And therefore, those who hear this can understand that there is nothing that the Lord will not do for his surrendered devotees. In fact, not just Prahlad Maharaj, we understand because of Prahlad Maharaj's devotion, then his whole dynasty was protected by the Lord. Bali Maharaj, he wants to be recognized as someone who's charitable. Therefore, when Vamanadev comes, he says, you've come to the right place, you ask for anything. Vamanadev says, well, 3 paces of land. He smiles and laughs. You look like an intelligent, enlightened boy. What is this asking 3 paces of land? You can get anything from me. So Vamanadev says, no. If I will not be satisfied with 3 paces of land, then even you gave me the 3 worlds, I will not be satisfied. Okay, you can have. Vamanadev in 2 steps takes everything. So then he looks at him, Mr. Big Promise, you can give any charity. So in 2, I've taken everything, so where must I put my 3rd now? It's explained that Bali Maharaj, because he also didn't follow Shukracharya, although Shukracharya is supposed to be bogus in this situation, so multi-layered. Shukracharya is saying, don't give him, his Vishnu will take everything. Bali Maharaj says, well, if it's Vishnu, then it's all his, I should give him. But he wants also not to be infamous for making promises and not keeping them. But because he didn't follow the order of his guru, then immediately he becomes disqualified as a liar, as a breaker of promises. Because in 2, Vamanadeva is taken. So you are promised you will give charity now, you can't. The Lord had come just previously as Lord Nrsingadev, before he appeared as Vamanadev. So to get back Indra's kingdom from Bali, he could have come still as Lord Nrsingadev and just tore up all the demons, finished them. But because the Lord had promised, not just because of a big promise, but because out of love of Prahlad Maharaj, that his dynasty will always be under his protection. So to take care of Bali Maharaj, who is grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, he comes in a form that just simply charms him and bewilders him. Not a form that with weapons to cut his head off and take everything back. So because of Prahlad Maharaj's devotion, so many individuals become protected by the Lord. His reciprocation is that great, and we can also expect the Lord will reciprocate with us. And in fact, if we are quiet enough, grateful enough, we can see in so many areas of our lives how the Supreme Lord has protected us. Most of the times, everything is seen in hindsight. When you look back, then you see, wow, all of these things, sometimes which were disasters, or I didn't want this, was all the Lord just puts a wall here. You think, he's stopping me, but he's just redirecting you. Because it's a maze, this material existence. How to get out of it? Only the Lord, who can see how everything is laid out, can guide us. Some of this guidance is like, he has to give a clap, just to turn your head to look that other way. But it's all love, because he is the lover eternally. Oh, Krishna. Okay, we'll close off by, there's a little purport there. Srila Prabhupada, to speak of the determination and the fearlessness of Prahlad Maharaj, there's an example given about his determination would not be changed, just like the curved tail of a dog. You ever seen how dogs will have, no matter what you try to sort of straighten it out, that thing always just curls back. So in the purport there, Prabhupada mentions Shunasepa, that there was a son of Arjigartha. This is mentioned a little bit in Balakanda and Ramayana. How King Harishchandra, big king, he was to perform Rajasuya, also sometimes it said Varuna Yagya. He had promised this, to do this, but to perform this Yagya, he had to sacrifice a human being. So yes, within our own histories, there's human sacrifice. Hare Krishna. So he could not find anyone to sacrifice. Demigods are saying, Baba, you promised you were going to perform this yagya. Then, so Harishchandra was put into difficulty where to find. And somehow or the other, in his search, this Arjigata was in some financial fix. See, when you have low money, poverty, it spoils the qualities, good qualities of a person. Because when you are poverty-stricken, then you are easily willing to do anything just to get yourself out of that poverty. So he gave his son, sold his son, this Sunashepa, to Harishchandra to be sacrificed. When Sunashepa was set up for the yagya, he began to lament. And as he was lamenting, his mind drifted to Vishwamitra. And Vishwamitra, being soft-hearted, he took pity on this boy. Then he gave him some mantras to chant, to appease Varuna, to appease the gods. And in that desperate situation, Sunashepa chanted, and Varuna somehow was pacified. And so he was freed from being sacrificed. And then Sunashepa took shelter of Vishwamitra as guru, abandoned this Harishchandra. So to say how he left Harishchandra, although he had been adopted by Harishchandra, bought for sacrifice, he never gave up the service of Vishwamitra. And he actually brought the fame to Vishwamitra that actually the Brahminical powers are much more stronger than the Kshatriya powers, because their Vishwamitra freed him from Harishchandra, who had promised to sacrifice him to the gods. So by chanting the mantras given by Vishwamitra, even the demigods were softened that he was released. So determination should be unchanging, unfixed. Ekeha kurunandana, vyavasayatmika buddhi, one-pointed. So may we be blessed with dog's tail determination. Kanchara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande. Are there any complaints, chastisements, comments, questions? I don't know if this is a question loading or they're just having a conversation. Okay. Kanchara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Gaur Premanande, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasinduvyavacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavyo namo.